Hello, my name is Stacey Couch and I am a certified shamanic practitioner and my website is wildgratitude.com. I am here today to speak with you about spirit animals, more specifically the situation of either liking or disliking the spirit animals that you think you might have. This actually is an important thing because either disliking or liking a spirit animal can cast a serious shadow of doubt on if that is your spirit animal or not. This is going to make more sense to you as I go into this, but I think it's important that you first, when thinking about what spirit animal is yours, that you really get serious about and honest with yourself about whether you like or don't like the spirit animal, because that will play in seriously into your relationship with them. So first of all, let's look at liking your spirit animal, right? There is so many instances of people having a favorite animal in general. Bald eagle might be your favorite animal. You really might have a strong affinity for hawks or dolphins or horses or turtles or so on and so forth. People answer that question pretty quickly and easily. What's your favorite animal? They've got something right away front of mind. So it seems like the more we have an affinity for an animal, the more attracted we are to the animal, the less likely we are to believe that it is a spirit animal of ours. Now, that's not always the case, but there does seem to be a correlation that I see in talking with various individuals. So just think of that, right? So people say to me, well, I really like bald eagles, and then this bald eagle came in the journey that I did for them, or the bald eagle has been showing up around their house, or someone told them they have a bald eagle as a spirit animal, or they saw it in a dream. Whatever indication they have that this is now their spirit animal, people say, well, I really like it, so I'm not really sure it could be mine. Am I just thinking it's my spirit animal because I like it and I want it to be? Really good question. So let me repeat that for you to make sure that you get it and you really understand where I'm coming from and see if this logic is working in your mind. Just thinking about, okay, I really like this spirit animal. And so does that mean I'm thinking that it's my spirit animal just because I like it? See how that casts a serious and huge shadow of doubt over your potential relationship with this spirit animal. It's really can be quite a detrimental thing. My response to that is, when people ask me that question directly, my response is that things are actually as obvious as they seem. Your attraction to that spirit animal, your favoritism, your desire to have that as your spirit animal is your answer to your question. Because you intuitively already know that is your spirit animal, and that's where that magnetism is coming from. And so hopefully that makes good sense to you, because it seems we try to make it counterintuitive, but it's very direct. We have an attraction. Where does it come from? It comes from the fact that on a soul level, we know that we have work to do. We have a relationship with this spirit animal. It's as easy as that, really. And it's like, wow, how could it be so easy? And it's because we overthink it, as we do with many things. So yeah, the next time you ask yourself that kind of question, just remember that it's so quick for you to have that attraction, that favoritism of that animal, because it's something that's inherently in you. You view that animal as a vessel of power. And so let me give you some comparison to help you rationalize yourself out of the doubt, right? Think about a friend of yours. Maybe you have a friend that has an affinity for an animal that you do not like. Maybe you have a friend that really likes spiders, or really is into reptiles, or really is into sharks, or really is into rabbits. And you're just like, nah. You either really don't like those animals, or you're like, nah, that doesn't do it for me. Those animals, I have no attraction to them whatsoever. So now answer me this question. Why do they have that attraction to this other animal or animals that you over here don't? Exactly. It makes no rational sense, right? Like, what do they get out of having a relationship with a rabbit and you get out of having a relationship with a hawk? They would look at you as having the spirit animal of a hawk and be like, what's the big deal? It's just a bird that flies around in the sky, right? So you see what I'm saying? We have our own valuation system that's built into us that attracts us to certain spirit animals, and it's ours alone. There's other people that have a similar attraction to the animals we do, but not everyone has it. Not every person values hawks above rabbits or dolphins or horses or snakes or whatever. So just remember that. Like, there's no logic in all of that. So why are you logically trying to say, oh, because I like this animal, it can't be mine? Okay? So hopefully that piece helps. There's another aspect of it that I really want to touch on too, which is this the aspect of feeling deserving. Oftentimes, if we're feeling an attraction to a spirit animal and then we receive confirmation that that is our spirit animal, we oftentimes, if we're having some issues around self-worth and self-esteem, we won't feel like we are worthy of that powerful, beautiful animal as a spirit animal. And the answer to that question is the spirit animal has come to help you with that sense of worthiness. So just drop that worthiness and just surrender to the magic and the power that is that spirit animal coming into your life. It will make a huge difference. Okay. So that covers that whole spectrum of liking a spirit animal. If you think of other rationales around it, other ways that for you liking a spirit animal casts doubt on if that's your spirit animal or not, please go ahead and put comments in the section below and I will absolutely respond. Okay? Now, let's look at the other half of the equation. This situation, that another way we cast doubt on our relationship with our spirit animals. And this is the situation of not liking the spirit animal. Now, there is one thing between there's a difference between not resonating with the spirit animal and not liking the spirit animal. So please follow me on this distinction because it's really important. There are times when a shamanic practitioner, myself or somebody else, retrieves a spirit animal for a client and the client says, I don't feel any connection with that spirit animal. I don't resonate with it. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's just this neutral, non-attraction, there's nothing there. And my response to that when that happens is, great. Then it just came for this moment with a quick message for you. Let's look at what that message might be and then let it go. You don't have to carry this spirit animal around with you out of obligation because it just came for the moment with a particular metaphor, message, meaning. Let's figure out what that is and then you can move on. You don't need to have it travel with you. No obligation required, okay? But then there's a different piece of this of not liking the animal. That's different. Not resonating is this kind of flat feeling. When you look at it, there's nothing there. It's just this void. Like, I could really care less about that animal. No big difference. No big deal. But not liking or disliking or fearing the spirit animal, and I talk about this in the ebook that I have for free on my website, the What is My Spirit Animal Guidebook. Helps you find out what your spirit animal is. I talk about this aspect of fear pretty in detail, but I want to talk about it here in the video today too. But if you would like to download that ebook, you haven't got a chance to yet, you can click on this link and it'll go ahead and take you to a page to sign up and receive a copy by email. Okay, back to not disliking, or even all the way to fearing. So along that, but the key piece is here versus this kind of neutral, like whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me. We're looking at the yuck. I don't want that as my spirit animal. That's embarrassing. I hope nobody finds out. That's part part of this too, is thinking about what will other people think. So, they kind of give me the willies, or I've always kind of had a phobia about that animal, and I have no idea where it came from. Or aren't they stinky and smelly and dirty? Aren't they kind of cold-hearted? If you find yourself passing judgment on the spirit animal, and negative judgment, that means you dislike it. That means or if you find yourself fearing having that spirit animal, there's another piece as well. So pay attention to that when you're thinking about, is a spirit animal mine? Because there is, just like the attraction to the spirit animal tells us about our innate intuitive soul connection to that animal that's drawing us to them, so too the repulsion, the dislike of that animal is an intuitive message. There's a charge there. There's a zip there. There's something that gets your goat. That's the critical piece. There's some sort of intuitive message coming through that's saying you can learn by relating with this spirit animal. And I can give you a really obvious example. I, growing up, had an enormous phobia of spiders, arachnophobia, right? Was very afraid. If there was a spider that was like this big in the house, my parents tell stories of me sitting in the high chair, and all the way across the room, there'd be this little tiny spider crawling up the wall. And I would point and start screaming and Spidey, and crying and freaking out. And this is before I barely could form sentences. This was happening. Obviously that spider was not going to hurt me, but it did. There was an innate intuitive fear that was built in. So years later, when I started in my own shamanic practice, and I started doing shamanic journeys. Whole nother story what a shamanic journey is, but let's suffice it to say it's like a waking dream. It's like having a waking vision. I went on a journey, and when I got into the spirit world, I encountered a spider. This was one of the journeys that I've done of the hundreds over the years, but this was early on in my practice. I encountered a spider that was the size, I'm not kidding you, of a house. The first thing I did was turn around, turn tail, and leave. I was out. There was no way I was going to stay there with a spider that was the size of a house. It was unreal. And when I got back, I sat with it and I thought, okay, what's going on here? Because everything that happens in a shamanic journey, as in a dream too, when you're asleep and you're in the dream time, same thing, is metaphor. That there obviously was not a real spider there that was posing any danger to me. There was some sort of metaphor there for me, some sort of message there about confronting my fear. And so I got up my courage. I did a lot of bolstering self-talk. I got up my courage and I went back. And I had a conversation with this spider as big as a house. And ever since, spirit animal, has been an ally for me in dealing with and working through my fears. So there was something there. Because of that charge, because of that zing, because of that repulsion, that fear, that was showing me, giving me an avenue to turn that fear around. It was a fear within myself that I had to overcome. And by overcoming that fear, I was able to make an ally out of that spirit animal. So there you see that there was this intuitive knowing in my system, in my soul, that was putting me into relationship with this spider spirit animal, and it has been a very fruitful relationship ever since. So there we go. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of the benefit of not casting aside a spirit animal as your own, as one that you're working with, because it is one you really like, and well, I'm thinking it's my spirit animal because I like it, or because it's one you really don't like and you'd rather not have. Okay? And the last piece I want to talk about, just a few more moments here before we finish up, is I want to make sure to touch in on worry about what other people might think of your spirit animal. So if you think it's really silly or frivolous, oh, it's a mouse, gosh, everybody's going to think I'm meek and powerless. Remember, all animals, spirit animals, have the same exact amount of power. And also remember the story I told you earlier about comparing what animals your friend might like to the ones you might like. We all have different value systems. We all have different attractions and relationships. So what another person thinks of your spirit animal is really of no consequence. It's about you. It's a personal relationship, and about coming into your own personal power, which we'll talk about more in other videos. But I really want to thank you for joining me today in this conversation about spirit animals, and I look forward to the next time I see you. You can, again, go to my website, and on there is the free ebook on what is my spirit animal, helping walk you through what your spirit animal is. There's also a spirit animal library there that has almost 40 different spirit animals, full-length articles on the spirit animals. It's really all of the content in there. I could take it all and put it in a book and publish it, but instead I'm just offering it out to you, out to the world as a service. So please go ahead and check that out too. I think you'll find a lot of great, beautiful information. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, post any comments in the section below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you so much and have a great day.